when you've just lost someone, to start with, the thought of actually being happy or showing happiness is really hard because you feel guilty. You feel conscientious that people may judge you.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome too. Today we're going to paint dragonflies, and I'm just going to read a little clip on my notebook because I can never remember it all. Dragonflies have an ability to overcome hardship, and that's us, isn't it? As a soul animal, they remind us to take time to reconnect with our own strength, courage and happiness. And I'm going to say happiness is the tough one, and today I'm going to address that within the video too. So yeah, listen out for that one. Even I find that one really hard some days. Okay, before I get going on my painting this morning, I've done a free printable for you. There's a link down below, or in the comments, there's probably one there too. You can print off your own affirmation card, cut it out, make it up. You just need to fold it and glue it maybe. And that's a freebie on me, because sometimes it's nice just to have something, isn't it? That one's the looking for the light. It's always there. So let's get painting. I'm just finishing my coffee, which actually is a bit of a cheeky coffee this morning because I put some chocolate in it and made it into a mocha. Felt it. I needed it this morning. Sometimes we need a little bit of comfort, don't we?
So I'm going to start today getting the base layer on first. And I want to do a quick wash over to get whatever the background is, and I haven't quite decided, but you know me, it'll grow as we go. But I don't want to lose the outline of the dragonfly right now either. So this has to be quite a thin layer right now. And I'm just going to as you can see, it's quite watery, so it'll take a bit of drying, but that's fine. And that's what I'm going to keep it a bit watery, just layer it down. So the dragonfly. Oh, there's lots I've learned about a dragonfly in the past couple of days. Well, so I decided that's what we were going to paint today. I'm going to start with some facts, because I always find facts quite, maybe I'm a bit sceptical on some of the findings and some of the claims, because I just want to know how on earth I'd like them to prove it in a way. It says, one of the facts, that dragonflies took flight 300 million years ago. I had never realised that our history went back that far. Maybe I'm not the historian. Well, no, I know I'm not the historian at the end of the day, let's face it. It just seems to be one heck of a claim in my mind on that one. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Maybe it's just me that's a little bit like, well, who did that? Who kept those records that well? And then the one I do think is amazing. Their ability to fly like a helicopter. They can go up and down quite easily. They can fly backwards, and they can mate midair. Well, as they actually can't walk, apparently, I would imagine that that's probably the only way they can mate. Sorry, I'm being really naughty this morning, aren't I, on my thoughts on some of these things. So I'm going to splash a little bit of yellow into this sky area very early on. I think I just like painting my finger every week, don't you? A couple of facts. Here's another one. They can eat 30 to hundreds of mosquitoes daily, which, living up here in Scotland, that's flipping brilliant. And because we can have a lot of midges around. We don't have a lot of dragonflies around though. Even though I live near a pond, we don't get many dragonflies. We get a lot of damselflies, but not the dragonflies. It is actually quite exciting to see a dragonfly. I'm just going to put on a little bit more now, because I want it a little bit more darker. So I'm just going to try it really wet and just get some of that so it'll drip. Most of the time I'm doing these ones, it always is very, very much an experiment of getting these done, especially around the outskirts. But you know, that's what painting is about sometimes. Kind of gives the impression of a bit of a greenery going around, doesn't it? These are pond lilies that I'm doing. We have pond lilies on the pond, funny enough. And they amaze me, because they just sort of appear and grow, and then when they die back, they're down back right now. It just like disappears back into the water. They say still waters grow the strongest roots, and their root system, wow. I always say you wouldn't want to fall in the pond, because battling with that root system, you'd struggle. You could very easily get stuck in the pond. When my grandchildren are here, I always sort of reiterate, nobody goes in the pond. I'm just giving those bits of greenery different shades in there because that's how it is. We'll get some more detail in those afterwards. We're going to have pink lilies, I think, today. We have pink and white on the pond. We can reflect a little bit of that pink into the wings of the dragonflies. I hope I've not kind of killed them off somewhere. They're in there somewhere, aren't they? Yes. I absolutely love the colour scheme. It is a very, very neat colour scheme. So before we lose the dragonflies underneath all of that, I'm just going to get some of them in because we will otherwise. So I'm going to do the over the wings with just literally a very, very thin wash. I want to know where they are, but I'm not putting detail in them yet. So I'm just going to go round just with that very, very, very weak white. That's probably better actually, that bit was a bit of the white, and let's spread that round a bit. So what sort of a week have you had since we painted the wolf? I want it a little bit more opaque than that. Pull some of that off. There we go. I might just whilst I'm at the nice white stage and my brushes are clean, just try and get the other one in, which I've already kind of lost where I was at with it. So this side I can see, because it's quite small, this one, it's harder to just work that out. And the other side I'm struggling with. Let's just have another look. I might have to find a better reference picture just to get those back in. Something like, I don't want to go overboard because I don't want to spoil the background. I think it's there. So the actual dragonfly that I chose were green, and now I'm thinking that I don't really want them to be completely green because everything else is green. We're going to be a bit artistic licensed. I have got some red ones as well, but I don't want it completely red. So I'm just going to get some colour onto it just so we don't lose where it is. And that was a silly choice of colour because it is going to blend into the background. I am going to go for the pinky red in the end. This weekend I've not been out anywhere really, although I went and got some shopping in, you know, all those mundane things that we all have to do. And I went and had a coffee because sometimes when I've got lots on my mind and I'm trying to work out what I'm doing business-wise in a week, trying to sit myself down to do these things can be quite tough. So I actually just went and thought I'm going to go and have a coffee. And the nearest place for coffee, and it's not only me, there's another artist who uses there, and I was really pleased when I found out. We've never met there, but we keep saying we're going to, because she does it for the same reason. She says, you know, every so often you've got things on your mind, you've got lots to do, but you can't concentrate because at home is where we do our business. So you never sit down and do it. But if you just take 5 minutes with a coffee, so we both go to the services because it's actually drivable from my house. I don't actually have to go on the motorway, and I can sit and have a coffee, which I did yesterday. And actually I did it to have a quick research on what I was doing with this artwork, some facts about the dragonflies. I can't decide if that's long enough. A quick measure against the wing. So I'm measuring the picture that I've got with my paintbrush. So that length of that body, actually, I reckon it should be longer. So right now I just wanted to just get the outline of it in so we can see where we're at and how we're doing with that one, which I'm struggling slightly more with. I need my reference picture so I can at least see where we're going with it. What do you say? Oh yeah. I've not brought my leaf up quite high enough for this little guy's feet because he's supposed to be sitting on there. So we'll just bring one further up as we do that. And then the other thing that I want to get in is these pink lilies. So I hadn't realised as well that dragonflies actually in some cultures, some areas, is like our robin. If people see a dragonfly, it means there's a loved one around. Every time I see one now, I'll be thinking, I'll be again back on there, is that Rob, won't I? We don't get many, considering we have the pond here. And so we don't get many actual dragonflies, like the big ones. They're quite spectacular actually when you do get them. And you can never get a photo of them. Flipping out, they move so fast. So this is just a quick outline of whoever wants some pond lilies. They have looked lovely on the pond this year. I think each year I've lived here, the pond lilies have taken over the pond further and further. What I love about the pond lilies around the pink flowers, more so than white ones, is the leaves have lovely red edges. So I'm going to try and just define some of those now. Only underneath of the leaf, not on the top. I'm just going to very, very carefully just give some indication of it. So the dragonfly, as a souled animal, they remind us to take time to reconnect. Reconnect with our strength, our courage. It's another one with courage as well. There's a lot with courage, isn't there? And our happiness. And that, oh, that's probably one of the more powerful ones, isn't it? Because happiness actually is an inside job, isn't it? It's something that our loved ones didn't make us happy. We were happy with them. But they didn't make us happy. We make ourselves happy. And it's our choice. But when you've just lost someone, to start with, the thought of actually being happy or showing happiness is really hard because you feel guilty. You feel conscientious that people may judge you because you're happy. So for a while you really struggle with it. Or I did anyway. And I know I've noticed that with other people, that they do struggle with that happiness side of things. But if you're at the beginning of grief and you've just lost someone, I get it. That's not something that you're going to find very easy. As time goes on, as you get further along, then, like myself, you have to be happy somehow. So the way I kind of did it, I think, I tried to reframe my mind into looking at all my happy times with Rob. Rob and I actually, we had quite a sense of humour over things, really. He did more than probably me. But I think that's the way to do it sometimes. We used the sense of humour to get through life. So that's how I manage the happiness sometimes. And more so recently, like now it was 4 years on, and I did the wedding anniversary card the other week. And what I tried to do was just look at all the happy times rather than the sad ones. Last night I was looking for pictures of ponds. I mean, there's a pond here, but I wanted to just get the ideas of how I was doing this, how the water was going to go, and things like that. And there were some pictures that came up, and some of it I do look and I think, oh, will I ever get the opportunity to do those sort of things again? We were lucky that our job, we toured the country. I always said we lived our life our own way. When I went away on my own before, which was partially for business and partially I tried to add things in, I always went with the trusty camera as my little protection. It was like I'm here as a photographer, not as a person on my own. It's quite funny, isn't it? So yeah, happiness is a difficult one, isn't it? But it is your choice. And it's a choice for people generally in life to choose to be happy in a situation or not. And that's where we're at. So a dragonfly reminds us to be happy. And they're quite resilient, actually. There's some fabulous colours of them. That's got some depth going on there. So because of all the different colours of the dragonflies, ours might actually have more colours in it than generally one would. Because why not? I wanted it to have a bit of purple in it. I'm not mixing a very good purple there. I might have to clean my palette and start again. I'm just going to get some of the darker areas in with that purpley colour. And I'll tell you why it's not working, because actually that's red, not pink. Let's put the pink in. Maybe that's why my purple wasn't working. That's better, isn't it? So I'm just doing those dark areas. And I said we're going to have a bit of a multicoloured, maybe. Just brighten it up a little bit. Some lovely patterns on the back though, and it's nice to get that pattern. Remember when you're doing it to keep that line curved, because that's how you're keeping the shape into the length of the body here. Most of them have a bit of black in them. And the tips of their wings can actually have colour on them, so we might just give a little bit of, start that little colour. I don't want to lose the fact they're translucent though, because that's very important too. When you're going around the wings, to keep this moving, you need to keep your brush pretty wet. Otherwise it's not going to drag the paint. There's another thing, the actual wings work independently, which is an unusual thing, isn't it? And I suppose that's how they manage to move mid-flight, change directions as they go. It's a lot of mechanics going on in that little animal, isn't there really? That back leg through the wing. So I'll just get it in there. It's a bit light really. It looks like one of the veins rather than the leg. And the same with this one here. This one's going to go under the wing as well. I'll put some sort of glaze over and just knock it back a little bit afterwards, once I've got them strong enough. Although they're in quite a light colour to start with, so it might actually work just to not build them up, only build that section up, so that the bit behind the wing gets just a lighter coat. Let me just outline that bottom one as well. I might just change the colour of that one so that they're like two different species, I think. So it's a bit more browny red on those dark bits. Female ones are always that little bit more dull on the colour, so maybe this is the female and the other one is the male. So we'll make one bright and one not so bright. Just taking it slightly further down than I originally did because I kind of lost the way. So I'm just going to pick that back up and fill that in where I think it should really be. At this point you really do need a brush with a good point. And I'm still sticking with the one that I've been using throughout, which is this one that's a De La Rowney. And it's just got that, it's a bigger one. People go for too small sometimes, and I don't think you get the point from the smaller ones as easy. And it doesn't flow because your brush doesn't hold enough water behind it to make it flow. The bottom edges seem quite straight, and then the top ones have the curves in them. So I think that's a good outline of those in. So just while they fully dry, I'm going to go back to the pink lilies. So they might be pink, but they've still got quite pale edges to them. Be just slightly careful on these ones because obviously I want those to pop up off the leaves and still the leaves want a little bit of detail in them. So I'm going to carry on with this top dragonfly now, and I'm kind of giggling to myself a little bit because for some reason I managed to make it look as though it's got an eye and a smile. So I'm just going to add some white in areas because I want colours to pop, and we've still got that blue showing through, so I kind of want to add a little bit of white so I can repaint over those areas with the purpley colours and make them pop a little bit more. So again, I'm just going to add a little bit of white in so we can get some colours to pop again. You can build them up and sometimes you're not going to get it by just doing that, so I think the knockback will help. They're quite sectional actually, aren't they, in their bodies, in their design. Or maybe you've not even looked at one. And maybe you'll think, oh, I'm going to have a quick look at those and see how they really are. Then you'll tell me that actually the colour schemes were completely wrong for any species. And you know, as an artist, that's fine. I'm not looking at this point for being an exact species. I wanted the purple to be almost replacing the black at this point, because there's a lot of black on them as well in the segments. So, going back to the soul animal, in Native America, they believe that the dragonflies are the souls of the dead. That came as a bit of a surprise to me, actually, when I was reading that. It says it's a sign that a loved one's near, and they return to the earth to reassure people that they're actually okay, that they're happy and they're doing okay in their afterlife. That is beautiful in itself, because, you know, we're so upset quite often ourselves, we never really consider what their life is. I do ask Bob, but of course I don't know. You never really get the okay, is it? Or the feedback. I get signs, I get number signs. Sometimes when I'm questioning things or not sure, then quite often I get a 111. Yeah, 1111. Should I say it like that because it sounds better? And that one can be a message from a loved one, especially if you're trying to make a decision. And there's been times when that's really happened, when I've sort of gone and thought, right, I need to do this. And I wonder how Rob would have felt about that. And then I get a 111. I like saying that, don't I? And I think, wow, that's like a sign from him to say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay if that's what you do. He's in agreement. Because, you know, we spent all our lives, or a big chunk of my life, sharing my thoughts and my decisions with Rob. So yeah, I like the fact that the Native Americans saw them as a message from the afterlife to say everything's okay. What's your thoughts? Write them in the comments. Do you see dragonflies ever? Do you live near somewhere where you would see them? If Rob saw these, he used to say that they not to touch or go near them because they sting, but I've never actually ever had that clarified, whether someone's just told him that when he was younger. But I've not come across anything that says they would sting you. This is the bit I'm always tempted to say, I'll get a pen out. That's a nice shade of pink. I'm going to put it on and I might highlight it a little bit with some white in it, but I don't want to mix it with white at this point. The faces are, behind the eyes is quite not so strong, so I want to be just a bit careful how I put extra colour on here. I think some of this will still be black on them as well, but I just want to have a little bit of colour reflection on them. So just by using almost the coloured water on these bits, because they're translucent, it gives it a little bit of colour without being too much. Okay. I still left his little smile. It's kind of a more poppy colour, isn't it? And I didn't mean that as a poppy flower, I just meant it made it come to life. Again, that one's supposed to be around its head a little bit more translucent, so let's just weaken that off. Should we have a bit of that red into the wing? Just into the tips. They also can change colours as well, apparently. And they change colour depending on their age too. I hope they get more bright and cheerful as they get older. Why ever not, hey? What do you think? With that one. I do actually have the most amazing colour chart so that I would know these colours easily. and sometimes I just forget to get it out. And if you're as bad as me, you might get a mixture of paint on your brush, and then it'll go on in different shades as you go down. There's no actual definite cutout for a leaf here, so it really is me saying this is a suggestion of how these pond lilies go still at this point, yeah? It's just getting those different colours in. Don't be afraid to blend on your paper as well at this point, because it sometimes is a better result if you add in little bits of colour in, because it'll blend, and you won't get that just by trying to mix it afterwards. The other thing with the soul meanings as well, I like doing these soul meanings. Soul meaning is linked to transformation, new beginnings, and an inner evolution. And I suppose that's where we are, isn't it? Transformation, new lives. Not one we were actually wanting, but we have no choice but to have that new life. And sometimes we get to a point where we think, well, we have to embrace it, because it's sink or swim in the end. There was a point where I thought I was sinking in it all. And if it wasn't for a good friend actually, that, I don't know whether he picked up on it or not, but actually helped me massively through when I just thought, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to get through all this, but I did. Sometimes we just have to remember people are there for us, and we forget that. It's that reaching out, isn't it? None of us want to reach out, because when we're at the depth of it all, we physically always can't reach out. But as time goes on, life changes. You find the people that are there for you, and you don't have to go in saying, I need your help, as much as just turn up and change what's going on in your day, opposed to first offload, I suppose. It's not always a case of offloading how you feel as much as just getting yourself into somewhere else rather than sitting at home. Sometimes you really do have to just get out, go and find somewhere where you're around people. Sometimes I just go and have a coffee at the services, and it's just so that I'm around people, which helps. I need to change the screen, rather than being here on my own, even just having a coffee somewhere else. And you might not even want to talk to people. There are times when you don't. It's just you need to be in the company of people opposed to interacting with them. That's more it, isn't it? Goodness knows what all that waffle sounded like, but I hope it made sense. I'd be lost without my ultramarine, I think. There's a few colours that are just like staples. They always have to be around the red, the yellow and the blue, don't they? Because that's your primary colours. But when you get them in tubes, different colours react differently. Just felt that one needed a little bit of brightening up. Sometimes when you need to brighten up, it's just good to go in with a little glaze, or with one of your colours that's not opaque, it's more translucent, which that is lemon yellow, and lemon yellow is very translucent, and it's quite good if you want to highlight areas instead of a white. So I'll go back to this top Dragonfly, and really I think it needs a lot of clarity in a way, just the structure needs now working out fully. So I've mixed now a dark, but I've mixed it with a bit of blue in it, so we can just work out this structure. So come back to the soul meaning. The Dragonfly is linked to transformation, new beginnings, and inner evolution. And that I can understand why it's linked to the grief side of things as well, because it's where we're going, isn't it? We need to find our way, a new way. We have to evolve in a way from being a couple to being us. And it's not easy, is it? But it's necessary. We have to do it. I do find that painting Painting has got me through so much, and it's the concentration, I'm not concentrating now by the way, of being able to just get what I want on the paper. I do think, you know, as a healer, as an aid to healing, or an aid to getting yourself through some of the worst situations in life, art is amazing, because it gives you focus, it gives you something to focus on for a while, and it takes you away from that forever thinking about the life you've just been handed. It's not the life you wanted. There'll be some anger, there'll be some tears, there'll be questions. You'll be going, why did that, you know, why your partner, why not someone else's? That's always a hard one, isn't it? Because that does come through as well, that you start questioning, or you find it hard to see other people together as well, and that is pretty normal. So yeah, that evolution bit, maybe that's all to do with it. It symbolises change and light. If one shows up, it may remind you to bring a bit more lightness and joy into your life. And it's probably completely right, because it's probably what we do need. But bringing lightness into your life isn't that easy always, is it? Because you don't want to be. I think that's part of it, isn't it? You just don't want to be, because it's like saying you're leaving them behind. And you never will leave them behind, you know. You'll carry them with you forever in your heart. That's what I believe, that Rob lives with me still, just in a different way. And that's, I think because I've worked that one out in my mind, I cope better. And maybe that's what it is, a coping mechanism. But do you know, if it is, I'm not bothered. I prefer the coping mechanism, thank you very much, to live with me for ever. Oh, a bit of water on there. So I do think, by the way, and I've already got the pen at hand, as you can see, that this is going to have a bit of pen work to it, because it's, if I want to outline any of this, it is quite tough with a pen. With a paintbrush, sorry. I just want to make a highlight colour. We should do a very weak one of those into the wing. So where I put on it too wet, really too wet, I'm just then drying my brush and spreading that out. I do want to try and get a bit of the reflection of the greens and the blue in these wings as well, actually, rather than just the colours of itself. I drink a lot of coffee. People say it's bad for you, but you know, I seem to be thriving on it, which is fine. Wash over some of those areas and just get that a bit more green. I decided before that that one, I think, would be green. I just want to get a little bit of strength into some of those to give the impression that it is leaves up there. If you make all your strokes looking the same, it's not as interesting. I think this one's gone a little bit dark, so I'm just gonna, if it doesn't highlight with that, I might add a little bit of white in and do it. But I think... So we've got these flowers to work on. Let's have a little try with these. My paint is drying quicker today because the sun's come out and it's a little bit warmer in here than normal. I'm putting some of these on and leaving a little bit of texture mark in them because it's nice to see that little bit of texture. Can't believe it, but I've just ended up pulling the blind down slightly to get rid of the glare from the sun, which actually seems a bit mad right now because the sunshine is keeping me warm. But it's no good if I can't see what I'm doing, is it? Now, I don't really want to put all the detail in those wings, but I do think we need to have some suggestion. So if you enjoy my videos, please do like and subscribe. Help me build my channel. I think maybe that's enough, don't you? I don't want to go too mad. I want to add a little bit of extra colour into them, to be honest. So it's these bits that I just want to clarify. His little smile that I've just almost got rid of, haven't I then? So do you like dragonflies? Do you like anything that flies around? I think our dragonflies are beautiful, as long as they don't fly near me. I'm a bit funny with things flying near me. Don't like butterflies to fly near me. And moths even worse. I hate moths. The children went to a butterfly place to see them, but the dad took them. I didn't take them. I couldn't go anywhere that had something flying around that was likely to get my... I always think they're going to get stuck in my hair. I'm just giving a little bit of direction as much as anything else with those. There's so much detail, isn't there, in them? Very intricate. Are we winning on the darkness? You might get a little bit of reflection of the greens and the yellow into the wings actually as well. So when you put anything in the wings, if you do, it's always going to be a bit wishy-washy because it's supposed to be opaque, isn't it? We're supposed to see that underneath. So it's just a hint of colour. Like this one would have a bit of the reflection of the green, wouldn't it? Some of them have quite a colourful wing, or parts of the wings are quite colourful. It's quite interesting reading up on some things actually. Distinguishing some areas would be underneath and some would be dark. Still some that could be darker. Is that looking shadowy? So there's some depth to the picture. And completing with the contrast, I'm just going to wash over a couple of areas and brighten them too. I do think that some of that at the top as well might just benefit from a bit of brightness. So this dragonflies, or both these dragonflies, need now to pop. They need to have a bit more brightness to them, a bit more colour to them, and they need a little bit of highlights. So I'm just going to brighten some up with a bit of white and give the impression of sections in there. But I'm also going to add a bit more bright colours. I always think when you get to the artwork where it's at its ugly stage, which I feel it is, it's when you suddenly go, right, that's it, I'm going for it. You get to this stage where you've just got to go for the highlights, the colours there, and everything about it. Going in with the white to just brighten some of it up. I feel it's a little bit dull. It's not really coming out of the page as much as blending too much in it. So we're going to add some cheerful colours in. I'm glad I did the pen work earlier because it does actually give a little bit better of an outline right now, which is good. So I'm going to go back to this soul meeting and the whole thing that I've read up on with the dragonflies because I think that's where I'm at right now. So it says, dragonflies change colour as they mature. We may be called to live and experience ourselves differently. Well, yeah, we have. We've got no option in that one, have we? And in any situation, we have to adapt. So I just decided that as my picture is now maturing, as it comes a little bit further along in its little lifespan of me painting it, it's time to change some colours. It's what the Dragonfly does. It's what it said it did. So that's where I'm at. I am going to change some of these colours around a little bit and add a bit more interest into it. I am brightening some areas up just because it will take the colour better. And I don't know if you can see my palette. Oh yeah, I don't know whether you've noticed that there's lots of different colours just been added. I have this iridescent purple. I'm just going to add a little bit of the pink into it still. And I've also got some nice turquoise. I do like a little bit of turquoise. That makes me smile, making it a bit more colourful. Now it's maturity. I do like that idea. It's a bit of a cheaty way of doing it, wasn't it? Is that making it pop out the page a little bit better by changing its colour scheme a little bit? We were going to go blue originally, and then I didn't. I went for the pink, thinking it would make it work better. So I'm in Scotland. Don't know where everyone else is, but I'm not painting a Scottish dragonfly. I couldn't think of the name of the animal then, could you tell? This one is native of who knows where. Native of my imagination now. I still want to keep some highlights in there so I don't lose it all. So are we right with the pink in there, or have I now gone a little bit mad? Again, it wants some highlights on it then, doesn't it? I just like the colour scheme here, but I don't want it to blend too much into the background. I want it to be saying, hi, I'm a beautiful dragonfly in this background. A bit crazy. I like crazy sometimes though, to be honest. This one's going a little bit oranger because I just decided it was a bit dull. I do think when you give something a bit of a wash with the yellow, it does kind of come alive without it being too harsh on it. That is quite a crazy one, isn't it? I like that because it's a kind of autumny. This one, well, I'm not 100% sure yet. Because I put the turquoise up there, it is good to try and get a little bit of that tone down here, so it's not all in one area. It makes quite a nice green actually. I must remember that in future. I feel I need to translucent some of that lot out with a bit more of a wash of a white over them maybe. A bit of a back different way of painting, isn't it? To put the colours in and then wash them out again. Right, so down this back I'm going to put a few highlights in, and then we might just go back with the pen. By doing this way, we've put colour under there, but then we've knocked some of it out and then just got the little hints of the colour, which you would get. You wouldn't have it so strong always, because they're a bit translucent, aren't they? So I think doing it that way round, we've given it I might just do the other one upside down. I'll just do the same on this one, just knock some of those colours a little bit into the background. That was a bit keen, wasn't it? It's always that little bit of colour that you want, and then you get too much. So this is supposed to be pink, not white. We should actually make sure we've got a little bit of pink in them. I'm trying to get the idea of layers of petals this way. We're kind of getting towards the end of this one, I think. So it's more these wings. Now we've added all that nice suggestion of colour, reflection. And there is a degree of, I don't have to be exact on the lines because there's so many lines in there, isn't there? There's so many sections, and I just want to be a little bit more heavy in some areas to make sure it's like the two wings. Which is better, actually. It's better than this one, isn't it? Just try and get some of those dark lines back in as well. I think with this one particularly, I will end up with a bit of varnish over it because some of it's shiny and some of it isn't, and it doesn't help always. I'm a bit of a scribbler sometimes when it comes to the pen work, so I'm not trying to lose it with it, but sometimes a bit of a rough scribbly line is actually better than a straight one. I think I got rid of his smile, actually, to be honest. Or her smile. I wonder what she is. If she's very colourful, it's a chance of it being a male because the males are darker, which is quite normal, isn't it, in any animal kingdom. Most females like being attracted, don't they? Thank goodness humans don't quite do it like that. We've lost that leg that goes underneath there as well, haven't we? There's one under here as well. I need to find those words for you, don't I, actually, of what I was going to put on this one. I shall do that in a second because they're not on my paint table. Have we got that okay? I have to say everything keeps going a little bit dull on it, which is a bit frustrating. I had this urge that I needed to maybe just clarify some edges on there, and you know, this is what happens, isn't it? I do like a bit of pen. So the words for this one, I think because of the whole happiness and the joy in that, I think that's where we're aiming at this one. I'm just giving this little guy some eyes, actually. So yeah, that's where my thoughts were going. So this one it's kind of a long one, so it's just one this time. And it's joy and sorrow can sit side by side. And I think that's it's where we end up as. Might take a little while getting there, but that's where we end. That actually they sit quite happily side by side. So I was just giving this little guy the hint of an eye, because why ever not? I'm still not completely happy with this one, and I might still whiten some of that out and just add a little bit more colour in there. And I think because I've done the purple in it, I think I ought to put a little bit of purple in the background because it would have to bring it all together, really. So I'm just going to add that white in so that I can add some more cheerful colour. I think actually that's quite a nice little bit of purpley colour, isn't it? Just to strengthen around there and bring that colour in. It might even need a little bit of the red colour, the orange colour. So I'm just going to introduce just a little bit of that up there as well, so that we kind of Don't want it to be too red, do I? It's almost like a blossom on the tree then, isn't it? Just brighten it slightly. Actually, as you start doing this now, you can see that it takes a few layers to get it bright, but it does actually get there. And then that colour into the body, are we going purple or the turquoisey colour? To keep it a little bit varied so it's not all the same solid turquoise colour. Quite like that actually. Yeah. I think we've just gone a little bit deep in here. Quite, it just needs that cheering up. I think that's it, it's done. What's your thoughts? I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope you have a go at actually painting this one as well, because it's quite a nice one to have a go at. I want the outside of those eyes to be a very softened orange, so it's just not that white. So how did you enjoy that? The dragonfly, joy and sorrow can sit side by side. And that's true, isn't it? You know, in the end, we try and do that. I still find the happiness, the whole thing is a difficult one. Even 4 years on, I struggle with it. But I do think I actually probably slightly abused the fact that the dragonflies change colour at maturity, because I did change the colours completely, and I'm happy I did. So there we go. And don't forget that if you wanted your own affirmation card, a free one from me, the link's below. And if you liked the video, please do like and subscribe. It does help me build the channel and hopefully help yourself and other people too whilst I grow it. Thank you. See you again next week.